Shalom, Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahawar Chakurash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS who rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you elect, starting with 144,000 and the rest of the one-third. So this is from TheGuardian.com. I was typing in actually Trump and Iran pretty much on Google today, right? A lot of things happening, prophecies are moving. So I kept typing in Trump and Iran just to see certain news feeds, up-to-date news feed. And I typed in Trump, and this article coincidentally came up, and it says Trump's military parade taps an ancient tradition of power from Mesopotamia to MAGA. You cannot get any more blatant than this, man. Like, even if somebody did this by accident, you know, I'm putting accident in quotations, you know, but even if the person didn't realize, this shows you what America is, what starting with the apostles, the breakdown of Babylon the Great, why we call it Babylon the Great, why it's called Assyria, why it's also called Egypt, and so forth and so on. Because America, the United States of America, has mixed up all these different ideologies, all these pagan and occult beliefs, okay? From Babylon, right? From Egypt, from Assyria, from all the major past kingdoms, right? Obviously from Rome and Greece, right? The Greco-Roman Empire. So reading, it says, to Donald Trump, the inspiration is the pomp and pageantry of Bastille Day, France's annual celebration of the 1789 revolution. For his critics, it is redolent of the authoritarian militarism proudly projected by autocracies like Russia, China, and North Korea. Despite its military prowess and undoubted superpower status, overt military displays in civilian settings are the exception rather than the rule in U.S. history. It says, I'm going to go straight to the point. Actually, I'll go here. It says, but in bringing to the streets of Washington, D.C. on Saturday the military parade Trump has long hankered after, he consciously or otherwise is tapping into a tradition that harks back to antiquity. Right? So it says, the first known instances of victorious exhibitions of military might date back to ancient Mesopotamia, whose territory now comprises modern-day Iraq and parts of Turkey, Syria, and Iran. Right? So there you go. Mesopotamia is that region where Babylon the Great was, Sumeria, Akkad, all these different of the Chaldees, right? High-level witchcraft, man. Okay? And it's not a coincidence that this article just linked this up. It says Mesopotamian emperors decorated their palaces and citadels with friezes portraying heroic conquests. Portraits would display a massive potentate striding ahead of his troops and crushing on his opponents' skulls. Military parades were also integral rituals of the Roman Empire, where generals and emperors who had won battles would march from the field of Mars, which is war, right, into the temple of Jupiter, witnessed by thousands of adoring peasants. That's you people, man. You're wooed. It says the looted possessions of conquered nations were said to be conveyed in chariots, while abducted barbarians were dragged along in chains. Slaves were encouraged to murmur, "Memento mori," remember that you will die, to their captors. It is said, as part of a drama supposed to link the Roman public to its leaders. Okay? These Roman rituals were later adopted by European countries as they evolved into nation states and sought to project images of power and military potency. And it's not a mystery why these Europeans, right, which are Edomites that took over right, after the Dark Ages, the medieval times, they incorporated romanticism, which is Roman-like. Okay, the entire Greco-Roman system, right, from architecture to language, you know, and obviously military. And it's these Roman rituals. So this is a ritual. Make no mistake about it. All right. So let me just get this right. All you gotta do is type in "daughter of Babylon," right? And you get a few scriptures. And what does that mean, daughter of Babylon? What does that mean? Because you had a nation called Babylon the Great. You had an ancient Babylon, and then you had what do they call it, man? I forget what it's called now. It wasn't called modern Babylon, but there's a name. I forget how they phrase it, but the Babylonian Empire under which we went captivity under, right, where Jeremiah was prophesying and whatnot. You know, that was like the modern, right? Which I forget the word, but you had an ancient during the time of when? Nimrod, right? Right after the flood. But what does that mean? The old daughter, Psalms 137:8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Right? Isaiah 47:1, come down and sit in the dust, representing confusion. And America is in confusion. Everyone's pulling each other apart. You know, everyone's tearing each other up, angry, hurt, you know, trying to prove a point, you know, just bugged out, man. Right? The scriptures say in 2nd Esdras, there shall be confusion in many places. And is it not befitting? Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word babal, which means confusion. Right? When someone's babbling, you don't understand what the hell that person's talking about. That's this kingdom, man. Right? O virgin daughter of Babylon. There you go again. That daughter of Babylon. There's no empire called daughter of Babylon. It's a metaphor. It's a parable. All right. There is no throne, or O daughter of the Chaldeans, which the Chaldeans, they were the astrologers, the occult. You know, they were deep in the occult. When you research about them, you know, they were I believe they delved with the Zoroastrianism as well. They were priests tied up, something like that. I gotta double check that. Right? It says, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. America was that place to be, to come to literally risk your life for. You know? To come here and try to make a life for yourself. But this place has been found out. The skirt has been lifted that this is a degenerate, decrepit place, man. And it's imploding from within. And then there's going to be another external force to give that final, you know, that final countdown, man. That final curtain call of America via the thermonuclear destruction. Okay? So I just found that article. I found it very interesting, man. That, you know, it mentioned that link between the Mesopotamia. Which one, right? Mesopotamia, right? You see the artistry here. This is all Assyrian, Babylonian, but here's that region, right? And that's why that Babylonians in the 580, 570 BC, the ones that came after, I believe, the Assyrians. My mind's all boggled right now, but that the majority of those Babylonians, the kings and whatnot, the nobles, they were Assyrian, because as you see that region. Okay, but Mesopotamia, as you see, you have the Tigris, you have the Euphrates, which is where Iraq is, Babylon, Ur is around there, Akkad is around there, Sumeria. So this is that region, you know, right after the flood, where wickedness spread, the occult spread, the mystery school teachings of Babylon spread. All right. Anyway, kahalalim la Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Shalom.